Hello, party people. Um, there's something that happened a couple days ago, and I've shared my thoughts about it with a couple people, and it seems to have touched home. So I wanted to share it with you guys. In my year and a half, almost 2 years of meditating and doing mindfulness to try to get through anxiety and agoraphobia and derealization, I spent a lot of time looking at myself and just trying to dive into who I am and why I'm going through the things I'm going through, or what maybe I need to change about myself to change my outlook on the world so that way I can be more peaceful. I really wanted to try to become a more complete, wholesome, loving, peaceful person. And a couple days ago, um, I guess as a result of some things that had led up to it in the weeks prior, I was sitting there and I just said, I've just had enough. This is ridiculous. And what I was referring to is I kept trying to figure everything out. I think at the moment I was trying to figure out why I have fearful thoughts, because they seem intrusive. I could be driving and I want to go where I'm going, and I have a thought of, you can't do this is too scary, and then it gets into some other stuff. And it's like, if I could just get rid of that stupid thought, I'd be cool. I just want to get rid of it. I'm tired of thinking that. I don't even purposefully think it. It just happens. It seems to just happen on its own. And it's just so disruptive, I guess. So I was at the point where I was like, if I could just get rid of it, make it be gone, I'd be all right. Where's it even coming from? I wanted to understand it. And in that moment, I think I was waiting for the shower to get warm or something. I realized how much in my head I was about everything, and how I just wanted to be sitting there waiting for the water to get warm. I wanted to just put my hand in there, but I was so internal, trying to fix these problems that I think are problems, trying to figure out, where does this thought come from, and why is this and that. And even in trying to find the solution to something that I thought was a problem, I was creating more stress for myself, more problems. And I had a moment where I just said, I'm just tired of doing this. Because I know it's me doing it. It was I've had several moments like this throughout the year and a half, where I just see things as they are, and I could see the rest of everything that kind of causes the chaos, but I can see clear through to the still point of a situation. And this was one of those moments where I could see clear through to the actual thing that was happening, and it was me creating more chaos in my mind by trying to solve something that didn't need to be solved. It just is what it is. And I said to myself, I'm so tired of this. I refuse to do this to myself anymore. Because the honest truth is, most of the time, we do this to ourselves. If somebody does something, if somebody says something to me that I don't particularly like, I look at them as the problem, or I would look at them as the problem in the past. But that's not the problem. The problem is the story that I've created around what just happened. They could be having a really bad day. Maybe their mom is dying, and they're just stressed out, and they have a moment where they just say something that's not so nice to me. We've all had those days. And then what I do with that information, or what I would do with that information, is then I'd create like this story around it. Well, how dare they talk to me like that? I don't care what type of day they're having, and I'm not really like that. I can't believe they have that opinion. And it just keeps going. And it's just so tiring. It's so frustrating, and I'm doing it to myself, because all they did was say something to me. It's literally just sounds that we have interpreted as words and given meanings to. It's just sounds coming out of somebody's face. That's it. The rest is me torturing myself over what I think is happening, and how it should be and shouldn't be and could be and would have been. And it just gets a point where you just get tired of creating the suffering for yourself, of torturing yourself, instead of just living and being with it how it is. Don't you get tired sometimes of just creating drama for yourself? Don't you just wish you could just be? You could just be okay. You see those people that it's like they just brush it off their shoulders and they just go past them and they're cool. You know, what's the difference between them and you except they've chosen to not create drama for themselves and we haven't. And so I hit that point where I was just like, I'm done. I refuse to keep doing this to myself. I love myself too much to keep doing this because honestly, it comes from a place of love. I'm trying to figure things out and I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to do that. And it's never from a bad place. It's actually from a compassionate place. You know, I'm not trying to make myself worse. When we tell ourselves something, you know, back to the example, if somebody says something to us and we create these stories about it, we're not doing it to belittle ourselves. We're trying to protect ourselves from something we think is dangerous. It's compassionate. It's just misguided and unnecessary. The more compassionate thing to do is stop torturing ourselves with these stories. So the past week, every time I notice an old thought pops up, because it's just old habits, you know, we store all that stuff in our brains. And if you notice, most of the time, if something happens that kind of like hits home and hits your heart a little bit, the thought that pops up is part imagination and part something that happened in the past. That's all it is. So that's all it is. And every time something like that would pop up this week, I'd just say no. Nope. And I'll say it mentally, or sometimes I'll say it verbally if I'm, you know, by myself, or I'll say it quietly if I'm in public. Nope. And I'm literally saying no to giving into it again. Just like when somebody is trying to quit smoking and they get that urge to smoke. No. Not going to do that. I know it's not good for me. I'm going to do this instead. And that's where I've been this past week. And it's because of the mindfulness that I was able to do that, because I can see that I'm creating the stories. And the moment you have that awareness, then you realize that you have a choice. And sometimes you'll be able to choose, and sometimes you'll get too wrapped up in it before you can realize that you're wrapped up in it, and that's fine. But at least you realize what's really happening. And then you hit a point where you just have enough. And you just say, I'm done. No. No. And you're not saying no to yourself as much as you are saying no to your old habits. Things that don't work for you anymore. Maybe they did at one point, and that's okay. But at this moment, you've decided, I'm done. And you just say no. And then you focus on what's happening right now instead. And you find something good about it. And you just be. And that's worked really well for me this past week. And hopefully it can help you guys too.